This is the Afro Perspective Podcast, the home of over-opinionated young voices.
Really? I did do that.
No, you didn't. Hey. But we're not set up. The boss on that
What's it looking at me?
No, but
Funny
I
enough,
dropped the best. That's a bad boy song.
Is this what we're doing, yeah?
No, it's not. It's not. It really isn't. So, part two.
Would you like to give us the introduction, this Grant?
Welcome back to the Afro Perspective
Oh,
Podcast.
come on, give us a bit more volume than the ball.
Brother, come true. Okay, welcome back to the Afro Perspective Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I want to go home tonight, I swear to good Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Afro Perspective Podcast, episode 7, where we are now discussing the SARS issue currently going on in Nigeria. Would Tinashe like to expand on this?
What? Should we
As-
throw you in there, innit?
So yeah, I'm sure we've all seen.
Shoot.
Yeah, we've all seen the hashtag #NSARS.
Yep.
So SARS is a unit in the Nigerian police force.
Yep.
I think it's an anti-robbery unit. So the whole spark that has set the world alight was the issue regarding police brutality, regarding corruption, extortion, etc., bribery, at the hands of the SARS unit of the Nigerian police. So we've seen a lot of
Done well there, you know. Because give it a Google definition, the Special Anti-Robbery Squad. Which
Yeah.
you got only one. You're a very
Yeah.
intelligent guy. Already, was a Nigerian police force unit created in late 1992 to deal with crimes associated with robbery, motor vehicle theft, kidnapping, cattle rustling, and firearms.
yeah, which is a big deal.
Rustling.
Which part is a big deal?
The cattle
Rustling.
Is that
Yeah,
teeth
especially
in
that-
What is the definition of cattle rustling?
that teeth in people's-
For a British boy.
I'm sure cattle rustling is like
Is that robbery of cattle?
It's larceny, innit?
Is what? Sorry.
It's like pre-deal larceny, teething.
Cattle.
Yeah.
So-
Okay. Yeah.
I
That's what it
could
sounds
be
like.
wrong. Yeah,
That's
I could
what
be
it
wrong.
sounds like.
Anyway.
But it's a
Yeah.
big deal. Like if you go to certain countries like Zimbabwe, it's a big deal. You can
You
get
can't
some
be teething
mad
people's
time
cows.
for
You can't be
teething
teaching
cows.
man's cows, man. Imagine,
Yeah,
imagine
no,
you spend your good money on cows.
No, you
No,
can
no,
get some
that's-
mad time for that in
Yeah, you
Zimbabwe.
were telling
I'm not
this.
surprised
Like
because
10, 15 years.
yeah, because that's better than drug deal. You go on.
Yeah, 'cause a cow-
I'm winning, my cow's gone.
But nevertheless,
This guy.
so
serious?
No, it's true.
SARS is, I think, the protests that we've seen going on across the world. We've seen celebrities speak on SARS. We've seen all over Instagram, Facebook, etc. And people are calling to ending SARS.
I think I didn't understand the severity initially, and B, I think I kind of got that there was a unit going around causing controversy in Nigeria.
Yeah.
But I didn't understand the full extent to what was actually going on regarding the SARS and obviously the SARS hashtag. And it's interesting to me for it to come back to the UK and for us to be signing petitions when you kind of find out that there may be
Okay, yeah. So let's get
implications.
let's get to the main talking point, right? So SARS, and because of how social media works and how hashtags work, people sort of subscribe to certain causes without doing no background checks on certain issues, etc. So upon looking deeper into the whole SARS issue, it's come to light that the UK and the USA have been instrumental in training and funding the SARS section of the Nigerian police force, which is very characteristic, which is very much like the UK.
So No, sorry, because obviously I am ignorant to the current scenario in the sense of, so we have the Nigerian police force,
Yeah.
and then we have a special unit,
Yeah.
for for some of those same crimes, and they
Like robberies,
'Cause I was
like, it's
gonna
like a
ask,
robbery.
like-
It's like SWAT.
Okay, cool.
Right,
I understand.
right.
So they're the SWAT team for Nigeria.
Yeah,
Potentially.
which they've literally been dissolved and it's been kind of reformed as SWAT now.
Okay.
So over the last 5 years, they've been disbanded about 5 times because of the same issues that people are protesting about: brutality, bribery, extortion, etc.
So they're using
and
their
crimes
power.
against humanity. So this is not the first time that this.
So why is it different this time?
The reason why it's different this time is because the movement's gained enough traction.
Okay. I think
It's kind of like Black Lives Matter. Remember 4 years ago we had the Black Lives Matter marches, and then 4 years later we had the George Floyd.
And only this year really.
This year has it really, because social media and the algorithms, they're working differently. So the reach of social media is a lot different
So
to what
social
it
media
was.
is really set afire.
So it's kind of catalyzed that.
Okay, I understand.
So
the
now
brutality's been going on for
it's been going on, but it goes beyond police brutality.
Okay.
What?
It also addresses now. This was the spark that set, the place alight, but then it's opened the door to the conversation about corruption that's going on in the country. It's the wealth gap, poverty, etc. So the people of Nigeria are genuinely frustrated about other things.
Such a rich country, isn't it?
It's such a rich country, but again, it's a very big, it's subcontinent. So
Definitely
it's so by numbers, there's a
22
lot
million
of
people in Lagos alone.
that's what I mean.
crazy.
Yeah, so it's a very
Honestly,
it's a
when we had
subcontinent.
and I learned this, not to digress, but I learned this when they had the whole Jamaica versus Nigeria scenario, and they were talking about WizKid versus Vybz Kartel, and Jamaicans got very upset about Vybz Kartel losing. It's like
You're getting beat by numbers.
3 million people total.
Then
for the
you're
whole
going
island.
against.
In Lagos alone. Yeah, you're talking Lagos alone.
Remember,
one city
in Nigeria,
is 22
you've got
million.
they speak more than 40 languages in
It's a
Nigeria
wrap.
alone.
It's a wrap.
So imagine how big it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then you're dealing with the whole of West Africa.
So we see in the UK, I've seen people on social media signing or posting petitions.
What's the petition for?
Right. So this is what I believe is problematic. You're signing a petition calling to the UK government to reprimand the Nigerian government because of the actions of the SARS unit.
Okay.
Right.
That was
Then when you look into it deeper, the SARS unit was trained and funded by the UK government
Wow.
between 2015 and 2020.
What?
So
So
the
recent
last-
times.
Up
The
until
last 5
very
years,
recently,
basically.
yeah.
Shit. So basically, the UK have funded this organization which could almost
what they're doing.
which could almost be seen as terrorists.
As a terrorist
Yeah,
organization.
essentially, it could almost be seen as terrorists for the last 5 years. Bearing in mind they've been disbanded how many times already in those
How many
last 5
times?
years?
So they've already
literally
been
kept
called
So they're
out
asking the wrong
for
questions.
crimes against humanity. However, the UK has continued to fund this same unit that everybody's protesting and calling to the UK to basically help. How can you call to the same people that and
Right,
again,
this is the first
if you look across this is not the first time we've seen the UK. Yeah, about 51 people have died in the protests.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that number.
Right, so
And-
this is not a laughing matter. The joke we're making is, well, the joke I'm making is, you can't write an appeal for the UK government to get involved with the Nigerian government to stop the SARS scenario when the UK government are funding the scenario in the first place.
In the first
We're
And that would
asking
be a
the
known
wrong
fact
question.
over there, right?
And here's the second.
No, is
Is it a known fact?
No, but is it a known fact? Because I'm discovering this right now.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
therefore, they know.
this is something that has
With the general-
it's founded.
Republic of Nigeria. Oh,
So this is a fact. So
Right.
the UK. So I suppose this opens a can of worms.
The UK's defense is, just because we train them doesn't mean that we take responsibility for what they do on the ground. But then at the
That's
same
wild
time,
again.
it's like, well,
All right. Let me.
what are your actual
well,
affiliations and relations
Stop.
with these guys?
Stop. So I train a little league team. No, I'm just gonna break it down
Okay.
on
the layman's terms.
Yeah, layman's terms. So I train a little league team. Some of the kids are behaved, some of the kids are not well behaved, but their behavior is a direct representation of
you as a coach.
me as a coach.
You have to take some form of
And
accountability for what
full
they do.
not even partially. I take full accountability, and not only that, if they are to behave in a way that I deem incorrect, it's my job to then reprimand
something. Yep.
and fix that issue. And if I can't fix that issue, remove those people
That are
from
behaving.
this scenario.
And likewise, you take credit for their
Yeah, of course,
for their
100%,
winnings.
100%. So in the same respect, and I know I've used a very small example, but it's just a life example. If you have trained, because trained is the word, by the way.
Yeah, trade.
Training is the word. Yeah. If you have trained somebody or people or an organization to do a job and they are doing it incorrectly, then you are responsible for either retraining
Yep.
and stopping that behavior. It's
continue.
not even up for debate. Like, that's your job.
Okay, there's the aspect of training, and then there's the aspect of sponsorship.
I don't even want to get
They're not only training, they're sponsoring these guys.
This literally blows my mind.
know this.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, but then at the same time, it's nothing to be surprised about. It's
No, I'm not
nothing
surprised.
new. The West in general, have been known to sponsor regimes that cause instability in
Makes sense.
African and in the
Makes
Middle
sense, 'cause
East.
you come
So
in, swoop in,
let's
make
just
some more money.
let's just name a few organizations that have been linked to the UK: Al Qaeda,
Yeah, facts. I already knew that one.
ISIS,
Yeah, that one too.
Boko Haram,
I didn't know that one. Yeah, but it doesn't surprise me.
and it
People
all
need to ask
goes
why.
no, it all goes back. If you look into African history, or if you look into world history in general, there's a thing called proxy wars.
Yeah,
So a lot of wars that you see, the Tutsis and the Hutus,
yeah.
a lot of wars that you see in the Middle East, they are sponsored by
The West.
the West.
Yeah, I know.
And the reason why the
Big
West,
time.
it's a divide and rule tactic.
Yeah,
So you sponsor one side, give them arms, give them whatever, and do it covertly, cause instability, and then
you come in. Well, you can. Come
it's crazy because who's gonna call for you to come and solve the problem?
Yeah, the other side.
No, it's the people on the ground.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
So just like now, we're signing a petition to say, "Hey, UK,
Do something
America, do something about what's going on."
So now they're gonna go in.
Now they're gonna go in,
Guns blazing.
and then when they do go in,
They're in, and now you can't even question why
they can do what they want.
Yeah, because you asked them to go in.
Can't get them out.
So when they go in, they're likely going to set up
An army base.
Different-
which Obama's already done that,
Yeah, it's a wrap, isn't it?
right? They're going to set up an army
It's
base.
too easy when you think about it. It's literally that's not chess. That's checkers. It's not chess. It's checkers because it's too easy.
It's checkers.
Because you say, here you go. You cause some instability over here. The people are then gonna call for us to go in. We're gonna go in because you asked us to
And fix things.
And fix things.
Okay, now let's look at Nigeria. What interests do
Oil, diamonds. I was reading about this the other day. They got other things. Nigeria is one of the richest countries in the world. Period.
it's
Minerals.
rich?
They got
No,
so many.
here's the thing. Nigeria is rich in land
That too.
because it's a subcontinent.
They still have more
So,
land with all them.
when you think about land, one of the reasons why land is expensive is if I buy this piece of land that we're in right now, it could be, let's say, 10 square meters, 5 square meters. There could be gold buried underneath.
Yeah.
So that piece of land
You got
is
a drill. Yeah, he
it's
said that's more
worth-
value than.
It's, yeah.
there's value.
It increases the value. Yeah.
And then there are the immediate resources,
Yeah.
That-
Around the area, and then it's what you can do with the land.
what you can do with the land. And then there are other interests, political interests,
Yeah.
economic
I get
interests,
it.
You own to
etc.
the land during power. Yeah.
And then there's the whole regime change thing. If the British or the Americans are not happy about whatever regime is in power, one of their first tactics is to cause instability.
It hurts me though, because
Just like-
it's been used so many times.
And
Like, when are we gonna get
you're not gonna
wise to
learn
the
when-
idea?
yeah.
We're never gonna get wise because this is how they do
It's
it.
such a simple process.
Yeah, but Anton, you're an opposition leader in St. Vincent.
Okay.
The British don't like the current ruling party.
Yeah.
They approach you. They offer you the clout that you have of having the relations with the British government.
Okay.
They offer you diplomatic sort of access to the UK. They offer you that propaganda access. So now the guy in St. Vincent, whatever leader's there, he's doing the most foolishness or whatever. It's been highlighted by the UK. You're being painted as the guy.
Okay.
They offer you funding. They offer you aid.
You're running now.
You put a bow on it,
Yeah.
and you're gonna take it.
They've got you.
That's a good present, right?
Okay, here's the
Because
problem.
it's always a good card to have as an opposition leader.
Here's the problem, and this is where, as an African people, we need to get wise to this. St. Vincent is a very bad example. No, I'm explaining to you why. Africa is by far, as a continent, by far the richest continent there is in the world, by far. And people need to understand, and I know I'm talking and some stuff you already understand, I'm not teaching you how to suck it. People need to understand that if somebody is coming in, especially the British or Americans or the West in general, they're coming in with their own agenda. Yeah, they're coming in to use you to gain power.
Yeah, but the Chinese do the same.
Okay, same with the Chinese.
It's chariot tricks.
But okay, cool. But you don't need them.
No,
You
Anton.
feel like you do,
They make you
but
feel
you
like
don't.
No, what you've got to realize, how this is why they've got you work for whatever company you work for, right? How much emphasis do they put on bribery laws?
Yeah, well, yeah, big time.
Big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a massive deal, actually.
Especially when
you have to train every other month on it,
right? Especially when you're dealing with who?
Yeah, certain countries. Yeah.
What country in particular?
Yeah, it's African country and Asian.
No, Asian countries, right? Which country in Asia?
not
The guy ain't here for that.
Okay,
It's African countries and Asian countries.
and Asian countries, right? So the bribery, Asian countries like China, I'll say it. The Chinese are known for
I didn't say
bribery,
that.
which is why they've got so much contracts in Africa.
Okay.
They bribe their way into. They've bribed their way into
the
Africa.
world.
So what you've got to realize is, right? This is the thing. You see, when you look into the African political structure as it currently stands, Africa is still in the hands of the older generation of politicians,
Yeah, that's a fact.
right?
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Africa is still in the hands of politicians that were freedom fighters, ex-army officials who have very old
Regimented.
ways.
Yeah.
You've got, for example, look at Zimbabwe, Emerson Mnangagwa. He's been Mugabe's right-hand man from the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah. So you seen what? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's been waiting to step up to that
Mugabe's
position
level.
of power.
Yeah.
And he ended up getting that power by,
Yeah.
Coup.
I saw that. Yeah.
do you know what I mean? He did a soft coup,
Yeah.
but it was a coup
That's
d'etat.
soft coup.
No, that's what they called it. It was a soft coup because it wasn't technically a coup, but it was a coup.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? So you've got to realize the mentality that these guys carry is completely different to the mentality that you carry as a young liberal.
I know this. Yeah.
Their mentality is their mentality is, you know, I fought the war. It's a very nationalist mentality, but at the same time, it has corruption embedded in it because they have seen corruption. There's a whole culture of corruption in African politics, and it also ties with African culture, with how the elders hold on to power.
Okay.
If you look at the whole thing about Ubuntu or whatever, if you go deeper into African culture, there's the recognition that the leaders, the elders know better. So until they pass on, they're not going to give
Nothing's gonna
that power
change.
over.
I think that's the issue with politics in general. I think that it's always a sense that the older person knows better, and it's kind of as much as they make out like it's an old man's game, but it's a young man's thoughts that will change things. It's a very interesting.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
So we're sitting there talking about what should happen, and that's not going to happen because old
the old men are in charge.
power.
Okay, so we're speaking of a culture of corruption, right?
Yeah.
Likewise, in the streets, there's a culture of the young kids grew up seeing drug dealers wearing big chains and driving nice cars.
Yeah.
These politicians saw their counterparts driving nice cars, big mansions, flying or whatever, like the likes of Mugabe.
Yeah.
So anybody that was around them that ends up yielding power is going to continue the same tradition. And what are they going to do? They're going to carry everybody around them.
Yeah.
They don't just come into power. It's just like Trump.
Yeah.
When Trump comes into power, he changes the whole structure, fires who's not with him. So it's the same. And I think another point.
Fire people,
I think another point to make is, especially in the diaspora, we have a tendency to look at African politics and condemn African politics, and at the same time idealize.
Not me. I know where you're going with this.
The UK
It's
and
very similar.
America.
Yeah.
When you check it, look at the American elections now.
Yeah, fam.
This is no different
people
to.
wanna
Do you know
talk
the thing is,
about-
the Biden and Trump election reminds me of the 2008 elections in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
They were just as controversial.
I wasn't following it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was a big deal. A lot of people ended up dying or whatever. Which in this case, if Biden wins, Biden wins, don't think those armed militia in America are not going to rise there.
Yeah, rise up the tall up, innit?
Exactly, because they're already on standby. Do not think you don't have hundreds of thousands of.
And the thing like Trump fans are the armed fans. Remember that?
No, that's
Trump
right.
fans
and dangerous.
are the armed fans.
And the dangerous.
The Fox News fans.
Corrupt.
Yeah,
Go bad.
that's the real talk. So anyway, back to SARS.
Yeah, so we tend to look for solutions from Western regimes who aren't doing any different from these African regimes. These African regimes, they're only upholding Western political values.
Yeah.
Because when you look into Africa, most of the constitutions and everything were written that these are old colonial constitutions. So they do
we still hold
things,
westernized values
and
Africa.
Yeah, exactly, and the corruption,
which is broken, by the way. So,
yeah, so you hear people talk about corruption's killed Africa.
I hate that.
Yeah, blah blah blah. When you think about Donald Trump, this guy's paid 7 bills for his taxes for how many years?
I hate the ideology. I'm gonna digress. I don't care. Right? I hate the idea. No, because I hear it all the time. The reason why Africa's in this way is because of corruption. It's like we have corruption here in the UK. We have corruption. United States of America is a very good example.
Look at the taxes. Look at the
I know.
expensive scandals.
It's not any different. Yeah, people in power commit corruption.
Corruption is a human trait.
Yeah. Well, yes. If you're powerful enough.
If you're powerful enough,
just because the police isn't on the ground bribing you over here doesn't mean it's not the same.
And I mean, come on, look at people appealing to the West with the whole SARS thing. SARS ain't doing nothing worse than what the American flipping police are doing to black people.
Here's my issue. Why are, I'm gonna say we, because I'm gonna talk about African or black people or whatever. Why are we appealing to the West for this scenario?
It's because it's there's a precedence of doing so.
It's almost like putting them in
the Messiah position,
which is also a bad idea.
Like
Beyonce, you're putting them on a pedestal.
Beyonce,
the height,
say something.
I've always hated the idea. I'll give you an example, and you can correct me because I may be wrong. So when I found out, because I didn't find out through you, but I found out that Zimbabwe was sanctioned in so many different ways because they didn't compute with the British way.
It was basically because of the land reform program. Mugabe took the land and they're basically been sanctioned since 2002.
And said, get lost, right? Cool, yeah, right. And that means that any other African country that deals with them would also then be sanctioned, right? That's my understanding.
Do you know how many banks got fined? Some heavy fines.
Okay, hold on. Who told the West that they were able to do that in the first place. Can we stop putting these countries on a pedestal to say that they're in charge of other? You're not in charge of Zimbabwe. You're not in charge to be able to give another country a fine because they're dealing with Zimbabwe.
Nah, I think
It's
with
wild.
the Zimbabwe situation, that was a case of letting any other African country know that if you even think about taking back land like what Mugabe did, you're gonna get.
I know, and I get it, because you're setting an example.
You're setting an example,
but
yeah.
You are allowing smaller, and this is the part that I don't get. But again, I'm British, I'm westernized, right? No, because that is part of the flaw here. But I'm like, you're allowing smaller countries.
Baby country.
Yeah, baby.
To run.
England is England. No, seriously.
Africa
England is about this big.
In comparison.
And America, as big as they like to make out, is not as big as you think it is.
But it's about capital.
They don't even make. Yeah, but okay, no. It's not about capital. We think it's about capital.
Sorry.
It's actually about resources. We make out like it's about capital, but capital means jack if Africa closes its borders tomorrow. And that's always been my issue, and I understand the situation we're in. I'm not pretending to know how to fix it, but if Africa closed its borders tomorrow, the world would have a problem, and capital would mean jack squat.
But again, it goes back to the whole. The West doesn't. They deal with individual.
I know. I understand.
And if you serve the interests of an individual,
the individual is being greedy, and there's nothing
he can
for the
let
masses.
you in. He doesn't care about the masses.
And this is the real issue. Let's bring it back to the African Perspective podcast. The real issue with Africans, and I'm including all black people under that under that
umbrella,
is the ability to be able to taking away from your fellow African and deal with countries that don't necessarily have the best interests of Africans at heart. Yeah, because America, as powerful, people say America is the best place in the world. It's not even close. Yeah, but no, it's not. Africa is the best place in the world because again, if you close Africa, there is no world.
Shut down.
Yeah, it's that simple. So, if you understand that and you unite under an African banner to say, you know what, if this is not in the interest of African people as a whole, we would do much better. Of course, it would cause World War IV.
I was about to say you would get obliterated.
I'm not an idiot. I understand. Yeah, there would need to be a more suave way of dealing with
see what's happening. I mean, come on, look at this. Look at the Middle East. Middle East 2.0.
Yo, America would get a sniff of that and be like, yo, we're going in. Yeah. So yeah. All right. Cool. Yo, let's dead that.
No, not there.
This is the Afro Perspective podcast, the home of over-opinionated young voices.